So in the previous class we have developed the 7 first order differential equations for the stator currents, for the rotor currents and the rotor speed in dq0 frame of reference. And these 7 first order derivatives forms the state space model of the DFIG. So we can arrange these first order derivatives in as a coefficient of various quantities. These quantities are state variables and the input quantities. Okay, so you see that the first equation, that is dis by dt, is function of bds, bdr dash, ids, then iqs, idr dash and iqr dash. In the denominator we have a term ls lr dash minus lm square. We will denote the denominator as ks. Ks equals ls lr dash minus lm square. Okay, and also this quantity, the yellow highlighted one, is kqs, because this is the coefficient of iqs. So we will denote the coefficient of iqs as a kqs. Otherwise it's very difficult to write the matrix. So this is the complete matrix where we have, you can see there are 7 variables, state variables, that is the IDS, IQS, I0S, then IDR dash, IQR dash, I0R dash and omega r, and dy dt of that, because these are the first order derivatives of these state variables. This is x dot, and these are the x, that is the state variables. Okay, IDS, IQS, I0S, IDR dash, IQR dash, I0R dash and omega r. So these represent the x, and this is x dot. So in state space model we have form of equation at x dot equals to ax plus bu. Okay, and we have to find what is matrix A, what is matrix B. So matrix A and matrix B comes from the coefficient of the state variables and the coefficient of the input variables, U matrix. So if you see the first equation, that is I ds by dt, dids by dt. So dids by dt is nothing but the bds and br dash are the input voltages and torque are the input variables for this state space model, and the currents are the state variables. So you can see here IDS has a coefficient of Rs Lr dash minus by Lks. So you can see here that the first element is minus Rs Lr dash by Ks. It comes from this one. And the second one is I d IQS, this one. So IQS is nothing but KQS by KS. So this is KQS by KS. Then comes the third variable I0S. So I0 is not there in this, therefore this is 0. Then comes IDR dash. IDR dash is here. This is RM LM by KS. So this is RR dash, this is RR dash. So RR dash LM by KS. And then comes IQR dash. IQR dash coefficient is omega R LM LR dash. So omega R LM LR dash by KS. And other coefficients are 0. So this is 0 and this is 0. You see that we have formed the first row of this A matrix. If you go to the B matrix, then we have to seek the coefficients of the voltages. For example, the coefficient of BDS is LR dash. So this becomes LR dash by KS. This is LR dash by KS. This is the coefficient of B ds here. This is B ds. The next one is B dr dash. There is no BQS here, so this coefficient is 0. Then B0s 0. Then B dr dash is minus Lm by Ks. So this is minus Lm by Ks here, this one. Minus Lm by Ks. Then other coefficients are B dr dash, BQr dash, B0r dash, Tm. And these BQr, B0r, Tm are 0. So these coefficients are 0. This forms the first row of A matrix and B matrix. Similarly, we can write for other first order derivatives, that is iqs by dt, diqs by dt, di0s by dt, and so on. So do it carefully and verify what I have given in this equation, the matrix form. So next coefficient will be kds by ks. You can observe the current diqs by dt here. So from this, just put the coefficients of the state variables and the input variables. Then you will find that these coefficients are kds by ks minus rs lr dash by ks 0, minus omega r lm lr dash ks, and 0, 0, 0. The third row will be the derivative of I0s by dt, di0s by dt. The third row will be having the derivative of I0s, and these elements are 0 except the self element. So you can see it here, this is I0s and this element is minus rs by LLS. This is 0, 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 this is 0. In the B matrix, we will have 1 by Ls as a coefficient of B0s. Similarly, we will form the dIdr dash by dt, this term. Similar to that, this is the first term, and then we have a second term. Third is 0, minus r dash ls by kr is the fourth, kqr by kr, and 0 and 0. Please note here the kr and ks, there are two terms I have used. This is ks, this is kr. Kr is minus ks because we have assumed that the coefficient ks is ls lr dash minus m square, and kr is minus ks, which is actually lm square minus ls lr dash. So you can see it here, this is lm square minus ls lr dash. So this is kr and this is ks. I can write minus ks, but just to have a better notation, we have used kr because it refers to the rotor. So it adds to the more consistent notation for these coefficients. And obviously kr is nothing but minus ks. So I can write here, if you want to make it more clear, it is minus ks. So these are elements of the fourth row on both the sides, and the fifth row is for iqr dash. Sixth row is 0, 0, 0, as you can guess it, and then minus rr dash by llr dash, similar to this term, this one, except that now it belongs to the rotor side. And the last row is corresponding to d omega r by dt, and we have proved in the previous class that d omega r by dt is minus b by j omega r minus 3 by 2 into p by 2 lms by j minus ids iqr dash plus iqs idr dash plus t mac by j. This we have proved in the previous class. In the previous class, we have left this term. When I wrote the equation for di0s by dt, I have left this term. So add this term. Okay? By mistake, this term was left out. Similarly, this term was left out. So add the term I0R dash. And also in some equations, this term was left out. Add this term also. This is the correction of the previous lecture, that we have to add the term I0s, I0R dash and omega r in these equations. So in this equation, we have expressed T electromagnetic in form of the currents, and these are here minus IDS IQR dash plus IQS into IDR dash. There is a coefficient of minus 3 by 2 into P by 2 into LMS by J. Therefore, this equation has been arranged in the 7th row, as you can see, minus KT IQR dash. This is minus KT IQR. This is KT constant. So I have denoted 3 by 2 LMS P by 2 LMS by J IQR dash as the KT constant. That is the, you can say, torque equivalent constant or some constant KT. The minus minus become plus. If you see it here, this minus and this minus, this minus and this minus become plus. So the coefficient of IDS IQR dash. So IDS is here, it's very important, and IQR dash is here. Okay, and the remaining are constant, 3 by 2 P by 2 into LMS by J, they are coefficient. So it becomes KT into IDS. So this is KT into IQR dash. The coefficient of IDS becomes KT into IQR dash. So this is KT into IQR dash here, but the sign of this is positive, not negative. Okay, so IDS is here, this is positive. So you need to correct this also. This becomes the positive. Then minus KT. This is again KT. So this is minus KT whole thing into IDR dash, including this sign. So this term becomes minus KT IDR dash, this term. So first is KT into IQR dash, second is minus KT into IDR dash. Then there is 0, 0, 0, 0, and the last term is minus B by J. This is minus B by J, this term, omega r. And Tm by J is coming here, this is Tm by J. So this is the complete model of the DFIG in form of state space. We can write the whole model like this: x dot equals to AX plus BU, where A is this matrix, whole matrix the A, this is B matrix, their dimension is 7 by 7 because this is involves the 7 state variables, and this is a U matrix, input matrix, and this is the state variable matrix X. This is X dot. Now we can solve this equation by using any solver or any simulation software. Once you know what the dynamics of system and it is being arranged in the order of first order differential equation, which forms the state space model, that can be used to solve the dynamics of the DFIG. The whole scheme looks like this, as you can see from this diagram. Okay, what do you see here? You see that there is a BAVCS voltage on the stator side, then there is a BAVCR voltage on the rotor side. Okay, so voltage on the stator side, voltage on the rotor side. These voltages are transformed into dq0 quantities with the help of transformation TS and TR. What is TS? What is TR? TS is nothing but A dq0s, which I have discussed in the previous class. It transforms ABC quantities of the stator to the dq0 quantities of the stator. So with this transformation, we will get BdQ0S. Similarly, with the help of TR, which is AdQ0R, we will transform BABCR to BD0QR. So B dash ABCR is transformed to BD0R dash. And these are the inputs, omega S and omega R. Now these voltages goes as the input variables, U matrix. So these form the actually U matrix. Then we compute the stator rotor currents here and also the electromagnetic torque using these differential equations. What is the output of that? The output of that is I dq0s and I dq0r dash. Okay. Then also omega r goes as an input and the electromagnetic torque is computed. It comes to the computation of the rotor speed, which gives theta r and omega r, and based on that we compute the I d0 s and I dq0 r dash. Again we use omega s and omega r. This is omega r, not s here. And finally we transform the dq0 quantities into ABC quantities of the stator and the rotor here. So this is an open loop description of the DFIG model. I have not shown the closed loop system, but I have shown that for given stator voltages and the speed of the rotor, these are the currents for the rotor and the stator. But to have a complete control scheme, we need to form a closed loop system. So there should be controllers which will generate the reference quantities, and these reference quantities are used as the set parameters. The actual quantities need to follow these reference quantities of the DFIG system. If you recall from the previous discussion, we have said that the DFIG can be operated in 4 important modes. That is basically starting mode, then MPPT mode, speed limiting mode, and the power limiting mode. The starting mode takes place when DFIG runs at constant speed with bend speed little higher than the cut-in speed. So as soon as you overcome the cut-in speed, it is starting mode. Then from cut-in speed to cut-out speed, there is a MPPT mode, or you can say from cut-in speed to or starting mode to the speed limiting mode, there is a mode MPPT mode where we extract the maximum power in that range of the speed. And once the speed limit is crossed, we operate the DFIG in a speed limiting mode. We fix the speed, final speed, and we operate the DFIG with that maximum speed. We don't allow speed more than that, even though the bend energy is more. So the rotor speed is limited by its maximum value. The fourth one is speed is constant now, and it is the maximum speed, but the power is allowed to vary till it becomes the maximum power for which the machine is rated. This is achieved with the help of the rotor side converter control. You may ask that when the bend is constant, when the speed is constant, how power can increase? This is done with the help of rotor side converter control. So by manipulating the rotor parameters, by changing the voltage and currents on the rotor side, we can still make power to increase even though speed is constant. So these are four important modes for the DFIG. And as you know that this whole operation is achieved with the help of two converters. There are two converters, the grid side converter and the rotor side converters. I explained in the beginning when I was discussing the operation of the DFIG. I have shown the block diagram where you have two rotors. I will again explain them. Now, what is the function of the grid side converter? The grid side converter has a main function that it must maintain the DC link voltage constant. The DC link voltage of back-to-back converter. As you know, the rotor side converters and the grid side converters form the back-to-back converter system. Okay, the grid side connects to the grid and the stator, and the rotor side connects to the rotor circuit. In between there is a common DC link. This common DC link ensures that there is an appropriate power flow between the rotor and the grid, and this has to be done by stator side, or you can say grid side converter control. So the whole idea of grid side converter control is that we have to maintain the DC link constant so that there is a balanced power flow. So the important thing is that the grid side converter maintains the DC link voltage of the back-to-back converter system. At the same time, it provides the power flow balance between the rotor and the grid. This point. Additionally, this converter also provides the reactive power support. Very important point. The grid side converter also provides the reactive power support to the grid. So basically, we want to achieve unity power factor operation between the grid and the DFIG. That means that the grid reactive power is set to 0. Alright, now to make this grid power to set to 0, we need to supply the reactive power to the stator from the grid side converter. Otherwise, the reactive power will come from the grid. As you know, the DFIG is fundamentally induction generator. Induction generator always requires the reactive power for its operation. And if that reactive power comes from the grid, then the grid does not operate at the unity power factor. Therefore, to make the unity power factor operation at the grid, we need to supply the reactive power to the stator from the grid side converter. Now, this is the complete scheme, as you can see from this diagram, which is the complete closed loop control scheme. This is the wind system here, and this is the power which is being delivered from the wind to the rotor blades, which rotates the rotor of the DFIG. So between the rotor and the blades shaft, there is a gear system in order to make the appropriate mechanical speed of the rotor. So the inner circle is the rotor here, and this rotor is being fed from the rotor side converter. This is the rotor side converter. These quantities are BAR, BBR and BCR. And the current that flowing is IAR, IBR and ICR. These terminals are connected to the rotor circuit through slip rings. Now, coming this side, The DC link of this converter, the rotor side converter, is here. This DC link is common between the grid side converter and the rotor side converter. Okay, the power flow happens from either direction. The power may flow from this to this, as we have explained earlier, or from this to this through DC link. The power which is fed to the rotor is PR and QR, as I have shown. For this combination of voltage and currents, it forms certain power, and these powers are PR and QR, as you can see here. And the rotor side powers are PS and QS. The wind side power is PW or P wind. Okay, the grid side power is PG and QG. And this is the rotor power which flows from this to this through the grid side converter and the rotor side converter. Alright, the purpose of the grid side converter is to maintain this DC link voltage constant. So we say there is some reference value of DC link voltage, and that DC link voltage has to be maintained constant using a PI controller or any other controller. So the error is monitored and the currents are adjusted in such a way that it takes appropriate power in order to maintain this DC link voltage constant. That actually means that we are exchanging the real power for the rotor through this path with the help of the stator terminals. So there is a power flow to the rotor circuit in order to balance the power flow and to take care of the maximum power extraction from the wind. Okay, so that is about the rotor side. If you take stator side converter, what do? We just measure the actual VDC voltage, as you can see from here, and this goes as the input variable here minus, and this is the reference value of DC link voltage. So reference value of DC link voltage is compared with the actual value of DC link voltage, and then it is passed through the PI controller. The error of this voltage is passed through the PI controller. Now the PI controller generates the reference current for the grid side converter, IGSD and IGSQ. If we don't want the Q component of grid current, then it will be equal to 0, because we want unity power factor operation. So for that, the Q is 0, therefore IGSQ is 0. And IGSD is the real power which is being injected into the grid. Then we convert this quantity into ABC, grid side ABC quantities, and then they are compared with the actual quantities, compared through a series current controller or through any other current control scheme. We give the switching command to the inverter in order to track these currents with the help of the actual currents. So this is the grid side converter control, this part. And this side is rotor side converter control. Now in the rotor side, I have not shown the switching commands that I have shown for the stator side or grid side. So you can see here, this is the switching commands for this inverter, but for this I have shown it here. So switching commands come as S1R to S6R. Now these pulses basically come from this scheme. I have shown it here, this block. In this block, if you see, this additional controller block, that, as you know, we have the stator voltage here and stator currents. Then we have the other reference parameters, that is PS star or omega r star, QS star. These are the reference powers for the stator of the DFIG. Beta S is the angle of the stator synchronously rotating frame, stator side. When you transform the quantity to dq, you need this beta S. I have shown this slash here. That means either we can take the power control or we can take the omega r control, because one implies the another. These reference quantities comes from the power control scheme or MPPT scheme. So for a given bend velocity, there is a set of T electromagnetic and omega r, or we can say there is a set of P electromagnetic or omega r star. One implies another because these are the pairs at which the maximum power takes place. This torque, this is speed. So either we can have torque control scheme or power control scheme, or we can have omega r control scheme. Any one is okay because one implies another. The maximum power has to be achieved at these pair of parameters. That's why I have shown it a slash. Either you have a PS star or omega star, or TM star or PM star, the same thing. So these quantities come from the power control or MPPT algorithm of the DFIG. So these goes as the input. The voltage of stator and the current of the stator goes here. They generate finally the reference currents for the rotor side. That is I dr star, I qr star and I 0r star. In between there is a significant calculation here. Okay, if you are doing research in this area, you can go through what is inside this. We basically convert into first the IS AVC, then ID AVC, and then we correlate the ID AVC to IDR, IQR and I0R. So we can say this is actually stator side control if you want to write. That generate the reference current for the rotor, and these quantities are compared with their actual values. IDQ0R actual. So we have here IDR, IQR and I0R. These two quantities are compared, and based on that we generate the voltage templates for the rotor side inverter or rotor side converter. And these templates are being compared with the actual value, and based on that error we use some control schemes, let's say PWM scheme, which generates the switching commands for the rotor side converter. So this is actually PWM block. So this PWM block gives the switching signals S1 to S6 for the rotor side converter. So as you can see, these commands are coming back here, and this switching is in such a way that it tracks the given reference current of the rotor. So IAR, IVR, ICR are closer to IAR star, IVR star and ICR star. So this is the complete control scheme for the DFIG, and there are many more details which I have not explained here. Maybe those who will take the research in the microgrid control of the DFIG, they can go through, but this is the overall view of the closed loop control scheme of the DFIG. Okay, so I hope these concepts are clear, and I hope that you will get a very good details of the DFIG system, how it is operating, what are different parameters, how it is connected to the grid, and its various control modes. Still, there are many more things that you have to go through. I have uploaded the tutorial number 3 based on this discussion. I hope you have seen in the Moodle, and that sheet, please go through it. There are some more important questions I may add later on. So with this I will stop, and the next class next week will start the new unit, that is the voltage source converter, which is used to interface the microgrid system to the grid system. This is direct interface. This does not come through the DC interface. I mean to say, there is no DC bus here as you have seen in the microgrid system. But for DC type sources like PV, or you can say storage or fuel cell, biogas, all these are interfaced through DC bus. Then from DC bus to grid there is a inverter. So we will talk about that inverter, how this is being operated to interface the DC bus of the microgrid to the AC bus of the grid system.